It was August, the first week of freshman orientation at Riverside College. The sun was bright and bossy. I was carrying a tote bag full of notebooks I did not need yet. Liam Johnson walked into the lecture hall late, with a backpack that looked too heavy and a smile that looked too light. He said sorry to the professor and sat beside me because that was the only seat left. He smelled like laundry soap and mint gum. He asked if he could borrow a pen. I said yes. He took careful notes. I watched the way his hand moved. Fast, but neat, as if he had learned to hurry without losing himself. After class, he gave the pen back and said, "I'm Liam." I said, "I'm Emily." He said, "Nice to meet you." And then he held the door for me. I walked out into a heat that felt like a curtain and thought, this is how some stories start. We did not fall in love that day. We fell in step. We began to share small things. A table in the library, a corner in the cafe, the same bench near the art building where a saxophone major played the same 4 bars again and again until the air learned them. He loved black coffee. I loved iced caramel lattes. He said black coffee was honest. I said sweetness is not a lie. He laughed, and I memorized the sound without meaning to. We climbed to the science building roof on a Tuesday night because he had heard the door didn't lock. It was true. The sky was a bowl of stars. He pointed up. That is Orion. 3 in a line is the belt. He did not say it like a fact. He said it like a memory. I told him I collected postcards from places I had never been. I wrote a note on each one, a promise to a future version of myself. I showed him one. Big Sur, sharp cliffs, impossible water. On the back I had written, "When the road narrows, stop. Breathe. Look at the sea." He read it and nodded like he could see it with me. There is always a day when you almost say the thing you want to say. Ours was the night of the Riverside Parade. Paper lanterns, food trucks, glitter on sidewalks. We ate fried Oreos and laughed when the sugar painted our lips white. We sat on empty bleachers after the music ended. The field was dark. The air was full of leftover sound. I wanted to say, "Liam, I like you. I think of you when I am not trying to think of anything." I touched the edge of his sleeve and felt the pull of the sentence begin. Then I got scared of the shape my life would make if I said it. So I asked if he thought the cafeteria soup was soup. He smiled at the field and said, "Maybe on Wednesdays." We walked home with our hands in our pockets like we were holding something alive and fragile. In spring, Liam got a transfer scholarship to Stanford University. The letter looked heavy in his hands. He read it out loud in the library and then did not speak for a full minute, as if silence was the only bridge that could carry that news across the room. He said, "I'm going." I said, "I know." He said, "I don't want to leave you." I said, "You are not leaving me. You are going to your future. I will meet you there." We believed it for a while. On his last night, we sat by the campus fountain. The water sounded like secrets. I wrote a postcard for him. Chicago, steel, and sky. On the back I wrote, "If the wind tries to move you, plant your feet. Become a tree." He put it in his pocket like it might break. We kissed once, carefully, like we were making a promise we could carry without dropping. At first we were good at distance, morning texts, night calls, photos of the same moon from different places. We slept with our earbuds in, and dreamed in each other's voices. I made a wall above my desk with his postcard, a small printed map of Palo Alto, and a photo of us laughing so hard that our eyes almost closed. But distance is not a straight line. It bends under weight. My phone would light up with his name while I was in class, and I could not answer. His messages came late, tired. Mine came late, sorry. We learned how to fight about small things because the big thing did not fit into a screen, he said once. I wish I did not love the work this much. I said, I wish I did not love you this much. We did not mean to make those wishes. We did not know that wishes can also be knives. I met Ryan Carter in a media class I did not need. He sat in the back and sketched in the margins of his notebook. He had a calm voice and a way of looking at people that made them finish their sentences. He was kind in the low, steady way that does not announce itself. I told myself he was a friend. He told me about the thrift store he worked at on weekends, and the child he tutored in reading on Thursdays. He walked me home after a late study session because the streetlights were broken on my block. One night, he asked me why I always check my phone and then put it face down. I told him about Liam in simple words. A boy, a roof, a promise near water. He nodded and said, I like the way you say promise. I said, I am trying to keep it. He said, I know. There was a Thursday when Liam called 3 times and I watched the phone shake on my desk and did not touch it. I was in Ryan's kitchen helping him cut vegetables. The knife moved in a slow rhythm. Ryan did not look at my phone. He said, Do you want mint in the salad? I said yes, because mint makes everything feel like a beginning. Later, alone, I pressed play on Liam's voicemails and listened to him breathe before he spoke. He said, I miss you. He said, I hate this. He said, please call me when you can. I sat on the floor and cried into a towel so the neighbors would not hear. I called him the next morning and said I was sorry. He said, it's okay, in the voice a person uses when it is not okay, but they want it to be. We talked about midterms and weather and nothing. We did not talk about the knife of it. You already know this chapter. Every long-distance story eats this chapter for breakfast. I said, Liam, I met someone. I did not plan to. I am still me. I don't know what to do. He did not speak for a full 10 seconds. Then he asked, do you love him? I said, I don't know. He said, do you love me? I said, yes. And I felt the words split into past and present in my mouth. We decided to take a break. Break is the right word. Everything inside me broke into neat, responsible pieces. With Ryan, days were soft and ordinary. We made soup and watched movies and went to the farmer's market on Saturdays. He held my hand like a sentence that did not need a question mark. He did not ask me to stop missing Liam. He just stood close enough that missing him did not knock me down. But guilt is a long shadow. It follows you even in bright rooms. When Ryan kissed me, I tasted salt, even when I had not cried. When I laughed, something inside me counted the seconds and kept score. I texted Liam sometimes. Are you eating? How is your code? Do you sleep? His answers were short and polite. I kept them like receipts. Proof that I had once bought a future and it did not fit. This part is simple. I married Ryan Carter. You can be angry at me if you want. You can say I should have waited until nothing hurt. That would have been a long wait. I did not marry to forget Liam. I married because Ryan was good and steady and my parents liked him and the world needs more good and steady. I married because a life is not a test you pass. It is a house you build with the materials you have. Our wedding was small. A backyard, string lights, cupcakes. I wore a white dress that felt like a story you tell yourself, so you can walk forward. I thought of Liam when I put on my shoes. I did not think of him when I said I do. I kept those 2 minutes clean. I still think that counts for something. After everyone left, I stood in the kitchen in my dress and ate a cupcake with my hands. Ryan came in and laughed and kissed the icing on my mouth. I loved him in that moment, without remembering anyone else, and I am writing that down because it is true and important. Months passed. One afternoon, a postcard slid under our door. Big Sur, blue water under a white sky. My name on the front in neat writing. The back said, "When the road narrows, stop. Breathe. Look at the sea." There was no signature. There did not need to be. Ryan found me sitting on the floor with the card in my lap. He sat beside me. He did not ask who it was from. He said, "Do you want to go there?" I said yes before I could think. We went the next month. We stood on a cliff in cold wind. I cried without warning. He held my hand tighter. He did not tell me to stop. Years look short from far away and endless when you are inside them. Ryan and I moved apartments, then moved back, then moved again. We bought a used couch and a new coffee maker. We learned the names of our neighbors' dogs and the cashier at the market. I took freelance work. He got promoted, and then laid off, and then hired again somewhere else. We ate too many tacos on Fridays, and started running on Sundays to forgive ourselves. Sometimes at night, I stood on the balcony and looked for Orion. I always found it. It made me feel like the world had at least one reliable thing, even if it belonged to everyone. I did not write to Liam. He did not write to me. The postcard sat in a drawer with my old student ID and a ticket stub from a movie I can't remember. 5 years after graduation, Riverside College invited us back. I told myself I would not go. Then I put on a blue dress and went. The campus looked smaller. The fountain sounded the same. I carried a tote bag with a sippy cup and crayons because I babysat my sister's son that morning and forgot to take them out. It made me laugh when I noticed. Then I stopped laughing because Liam was 20 feet away. We said each other's names softly, like we were setting down a glass. We did not hug. I did not trust my knees. We asked safe questions. Work? City? Parents? He looked tired in the way people look when they work hard at being fine. Ryan arrived from the parking lot and waved at me. I waved back. Liam saw him and nodded, a small respect. I did not know what to do with my hands. We stood near the fountain and said, "Good to see you, and take care." I wanted to tell him everything I did not say in time. I wanted to ask if he still carried my name around like a stone. I took a breath and did not do either. I walked to Ryan and held his arm like a person who has chosen a road and will walk it. Here is what I could not say to Liam at the reunion. I never stopped loving the boy on the roof with mint gum breath and a borrowed pen. I loved Ryan without comparing him to you. I learned to hold two truths without dropping either one. I am sorry for the messages I did not answer, and I am sorry for the ones I did when I should have let you rest. I wanted to be a person who did not hurt anyone. I failed in small ways every day and kept going. Sometimes I look at the night sky and think of you counting stars like they were tasks to complete. and I feel proud and sad at the same time. I did not say these things because I no longer needed him to carry them. They were mine to carry and mine to set down. Ryan and I did not have a perfect marriage. We had a real one. We fought about dishes and bills and how much of our lives should be inside our phones. We apologized badly and then better. We learned that love is not an endless feeling. It is a daily choice. Some days you are brave enough to choose. Some days you are tired and you choose anyway. When I got sick for a week, Ryan put water by the bed and kept track of the pills and set alarms, because I forget things when I am horizontal. When he lost his job for 3 months, I took more clients and said yes to projects I did not love, and learned how to make cheap soups taste like they were on purpose. This is love too. I want to say that clearly. I waited 6 years to write to Liam. I did it on paper, because paper slows you down enough to be kind. I wrote, "Liam, I hope you are well. This is a strange letter. I don't want anything from you. I want to place a small bouquet on the grave of what we could not be, and then walk away without resentment. I still carry the roof and the fountain and the sound of your laugh. I will always be the girl with postcards. I hope you are still the boy who plants his feet when the wind comes. Thank you for the beginning. I am learning to be grateful without wanting it back. Emily, I did not mail it. I put it in the drawer with the postcard. I am telling you this so you do not think I am wiser than I am. There was a day when everything almost broke again. Ryan and I had a fight that left the kitchen sharp with words. I put on my shoes and walked until the sun fell, and the streetlights came one by one like slow stars. I found a bookstore. It was warm inside, and smelled like paper and dust, and the kind of peace that lives in quiet rooms. I picked up a book about the coast of California. There was a photo of Big Sur, the same cliff, the same water. I put my finger on the horizon line and closed my eyes. When I opened them, I saw Liam in the glass reflection of the window behind the counter. It was only my face and a man with dark hair buying a map. I laughed at myself, and then I cried for real. The cashier asked if I was okay. I said I would be. I went home and said sorry to Ryan first. He said sorry back. We cleaned the kitchen together and ate toast standing up because sometimes dinner is an apology and a reset. A year later, a friend told me she had heard that Liam moved to Seattle and then back to the Bay, that he worked too much, that he sometimes ran at night by the water, that he adopted an old dog. I said, "That sounds like him." I did not ask more. I stood on our balcony that night and looked for Orion. I found it. I did not make a wish. I just counted the 3 stars in the belt and let the number sit in my mouth like a small hard candy that lasted longer than I thought it would. This is the part where people try to end with wisdom. I do not have big wisdom. I have small advice. To the girl on the roof, say the sentence when it arrives. Your mouth can hold it. Your life can too, even if it changes shape. To the girl at the fountain, a promise is not a cage. It is a bridge you can cross together. If you are the only one on it, you are just standing on wood over water. Step off. Find ground. To the bride in the kitchen eating a cupcake with both hands, joy is not betrayal. Taste the sugar. Let yourself laugh. To the woman with the drawer, full of postcards and letters, you are allowed to keep souvenirs from the road you did not take. You are also allowed to build a house on the one you chose. Last week I opened the drawer and read the old postcard again. When the road narrows, stop. Breathe. Look at the sea. I put it on the refrigerator with a magnet shaped like a lemon. Ryan came in with grocery bags and kissed my head. We made dinner. We ate at the table we had saved 3 months for. After dishes, we walked around the block and counted porch lights because we like to count things. We saw a boy and a girl on a roof across the street sitting in lawn chairs, faces tipped to the sky. I wanted to shout up at them. Hold it carefully. Say it when it is true. Be kind when it ends, or when it does not end. Keep a postcard. Plant your feet. Become a tree. I did not shout. I held Ryan's hand and kept walking. The night was not special. The night was ours.